Yep, finally finished watching this season after everyone stopped caring. Like I said in my video about season 1, I watched this show with my friends and we watch one episode or a few episodes every time we hang out. We like to draw it out because we like to maintain the mystery of it. And we have busy lives, so we don't always find time to do it. But now that we're finished, here's my video. Stranger Things 2. Yes, Season 2 of Stranger Things came out on October 27th, a little over a month ago. The continuing adventures of our beloved characters from Hawkins, Indiana. It's been a year since Season 1, and our crew is still kind of going through repercussions from what happened last year. Will Byers, played by Noah Schnapp, he was the kid who went missing last year. He's getting these flashes of the Upside Down. You get the feeling that he's really kind of formed some sort of connection to this place. Something's going on with him. And of course, the natural character arcs go in their direction this season. Nancy and Jonathan, their relationship builds. Joyce, played by Winona Ryder, has found a new love interest, Bob, played by Sean Astin, of all people. And yes, Eleven is back. I love Eleven. This season, she's hanging out with Jim Hopper a lot. Because when I was seeing the trailers for this season, I was like, when is Eleven going to reunite with the kids? I want to see that reunion of her and Mike. I want to see that relationship grow. So this whole season, I was waiting in anxiety for that. But I'm just gonna jump right into Eleven's story arc because I loved it in this season. This is her self-growth season because Jim Hopper doesn't let her leave the house they're hanging out in. I'm just gonna get this message clear to parents. Parents, if you don't let your kid do something, rest assured that kid's gonna do it behind your back. I'm just saying it's true. Jim Hopper doesn't let Eleven leave the house, so what does she do? She leaves the house while he's gone. And the journey she goes on is really interesting because she finds out more about herself, her past, her powers, what she can do, what triggers those powers. And you also find out more about these experiments, and she is number 11. There might be some other people who have had experiments done on them. They might have other powers, and it's just really cool to see. Now, as far as new characters are concerned, I gotta say my favorites were the stepbrother and sister, Max and Billy. Billy being played by Dacre Montgomery, who was the Red Ranger in the Power Rangers movie. And this guy is like horrifying. You thought Steve Harrington was a douche in the first season? I do not want to be in a room with this guy Billy. Because you just see him with that smug ass smirk. He's got a cigarette. He's got that huge mullet. He's talking shit to his little stepsister, hitting on cougars. He's a type. He's totally the opposite of who he played in the Power Rangers movie, which shows range, so good for that guy. And Max is really interesting too, because our original group of kids from season 1, they're a really tight-knit group, especially after the adventure of last season. It really brought them all together. Dustin and Lucas both develop a crush on this girl Max. They want to integrate her into their group, but her being new, she can't really understand everything they're talking about as far as like the adventure of last year, because it's some pretty strange shit, but I like how they did it. Now, as far as the cool visual effects, like all the things you do get to see in this season, first of all, Dustin takes care of this little like alien thing that he finds in his trash can one day. He names it Dart, and there's this little like thing you obviously it's from the Upside Down, it's from the other dimension. And there are points where I'm like, yeah, alright, I know this is TV, so it could be cleaned up a little bit. Visually, it's not the most real looking alien I've ever seen. Again, I know it's TV, so I'm not really saying that's a bad thing about the show. Besides, some of the other visual effects looked really cool. Like when Will is having his vision, he's outside the arcade and that giant shadow monster is out there. That thing looks awesome. It looks like a giant xenomorph with like big legs. Whenever I see an alien that like the back of his head has a point like that, I'm always gonna think of a xenomorph. And Will's story arc this season made me feel so bad for him. Poor kid. This is PTSD like worse than Katniss, which means some of the best kid acting I've seen. Like there's a scene where he's in the hospital, he's talking with his mother, and he's describing what he's seeing in these flashbacks, and he's crying, and they're both like just crying, and it's really emotional. I'm like, dude, this is great acting and a great scene. And yeah, like the last season, there are a lot of main characters we gotta jumble around. New character arcs, new relationships that have to grow. It's a lot to follow in a TV show. But the reason it works is because you don't hate any of these characters, not even the douchebags. You wanna know what they're gonna do next. You wanna know where they're gonna go, what's gonna happen between these characters. You just want them to get along, you know? You want them to get along and solve this mystery together. The writing is truly great in this show. I love the characters, I love the writing, I love the end. The end of this season was really satisfying as far as finales go. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but just trust me. And once again, the music in this show is straight up awesome. And this show uses synths for everything. Action scenes, emotional scenes, comedic scenes, synthesizer. All the time. And of course, the 80s classic rock that we all know and love. It's still in there and it's great. Guys, I'm telling you, Stranger Things is actually my favorite Netflix original show at this point. It's unique, it's original. You love the characters, you love the story, you love the mystery and the intrigue, you love the music. And after you finish watching Stranger Things 2, there's this thing called Beyond Stranger Things. It's also on Netflix. It's kind of a behind the scenes thing. I just finished watching that. It's pretty entertaining. So go ahead, if you really like the show, check that out. So Stranger Things 2, have you watched it? What did you think about it? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.